Zacatón Sinkhole incident. On April 6, 1994, legendary diver Sheik Exley attempted to break a new depth record at Mexico's Zacatón sinkhole, one of the deepest water-filled sinkholes in the world, plunging over 1,000 feet. Known as the first person to log over 100 cave dives, Sheik was a seasoned expert, though tragedy marked his early diving life. His brother drowned during a depth challenge at just 50 feet. Sheik teamed up with fellow diver Jim Bowden for the dive. Though they entered the water together, their dives were independent. They planned slow descents with careful tank switches to avoid HPNS, high-pressure nervous syndrome, which can cause tremors, confusion, and hallucinations past 500 feet. Sheik had already experienced HPNS symptoms during a prior 863-foot dive at Bushman's Hole in South Africa. At around 800 feet, Jim's hands began trembling, a warning of HPNS. By 900 feet, his tank pressure dropped to a critical 1,080 psi, far less than the 1,800 psi needed for a safe ascent. Fearing for his life, Jim immediately turned back. Sheik wasn't so lucky. Around 880 feet, he suffered severe HPNS and nitrogen narcosis symptoms. Disoriented and trembling, he wrapped his descent line around himself and rapidly depleted his air. A rushed tank switch failed to stabilize him. On the surface, the team noticed bubbles from only one diver, Jim. A support diver descended to 280 feet and found pages from Sheik's dive plan drifting from his line, confirming the worst. Jim surfaced safely nearly 10 hours later, having set a world record at 915 feet for open-circuit scuba diving. But Sheik, the diving hero who had saved many lives, was gone. 3 days later, his body was recovered from the depths, still attached to the descent line. Crooked Swamp Cave incident. On March 27, 1982, Donald Wellner and his two sons, Christopher and Roger, led 12 Boy Scouts into the Crooked Swamp Cave system. Though the cave was known for its tight passages, Donald, an experienced caver, felt confident. He was also the largest in the group. If he could fit, everyone else could too. At 2 p.m., they entered the 16 by 28-inch entrance and stopped in a central room. Donald spotted several tunnels branching out and decided to explore one. The squeeze was 18 by 20 inches. Too tight to move his arms or lift his head. His sons followed behind as he slid forward on slippery mud. Then something went wrong. Donald felt the floor vanish beneath him and slid into a 5-inch wide crevice at a 30-degree angle. His arms were pinned and gravity pulled him deeper. He told his sons to pull his feet, but it didn't work. Rocks had shifted during his fall, pinning his body. He told them to get the other adult, Jim. Jim tried helping, but realized they couldn't free him. He exited the cave and called for help. Rescuers arrived and tried ropes, then tools, but the tight space made progress painfully slow. Donald grew cold, hungry, and dehydrated. Hypothermia became a major threat. Rescuers tried to reach him from the opposite end of the tunnel, but it was too narrow. Only two tiny sisters, Lynn and Nancy Taylor, could fit, but not far enough to deliver food or water. Rescuers decided to dig from above, began on Sunday, and got within 12 feet of Donald's position. However, they then hit hard bedrock. By Monday morning, Donald was barely responsive. A nurse used a Doppler device on his cold legs but couldn't confirm a pulse. Desperate, rescuers used dynamite. On Tuesday morning, after over 2 days, they reached him. A doctor confirmed the worst. Donald had died. It took a full day to recover his body. The autopsy showed he died from hypothermia between Sunday night and Monday morning. Hidden Cave Tragedy. On April 8, 2012, 24-year-old Guillermo Pino Jr. joined friends and family for a casual outing to Arroyo Tapiado in California's Anza Borrego Desert State Park. The area is known for its vast, unmarked mud caves, including Hidden Cave, notorious among experienced cavers for unstable ground and steep drop-offs. This wasn't a planned caving trip for Guillermo. He was barefoot with no flashlight, water, or phone, just excitement. As the group stayed near their campsite, he climbed to Hidden Cave's upper entrance, called down for his shoes, and said he'd explore while waiting. Inside, Guillermo entered a narrow, sloped tunnel. Loose dirt gave way beneath his feet, and the cave grew darker and more unstable. By the time friends reached the entrance with his shoes, Guillermo had vanished. Deeper inside, he unknowingly crawled into a vertical shaft. Mistaking a thin dirt crust for solid ground, he fell nearly 30 feet into a narrow fissure. The impact was severe. His torso wedged tight, limbs twisted, dirt piling on top. Injured and unable to move, he struggled to breathe in complete darkness. Above ground, friends searched desperately. When they couldn't find him, they called the authorities. A large-scale search began the next morning. Law enforcement, cave rescue teams, volunteers, and Border Patrol combed the maze-like cave system. After 8 days, on April 16th, the San Diego Sheriff's Department called off the search, citing no signs of survival. But Guillermo's family didn't stop. They organized private searches and hired a private investigator. On day 27, a remote camera lowered into an unexplored crack revealed Guillermo's body, partially buried and lifeless. Recovery took 3 days. A mine rescue team carefully dug through fragile terrain. The autopsy confirmed he died from asphyxiation due to chest compression, likely within hours of the fall. Mossdale Cave incident. On June 24, 1967, a team of 10 cavers prepared to enter Mossdale Cavern in England. Their goal was to clear some of the deeper passages and map them out. The group felt reassured since the two leaders had explored the cave before. Mossdale, however, was infamous for its tight squeezes and very few spaces where a person could fully stand. After several hours underground, 4 members decided the passages were too difficult and returned to the surface. They noticed cloudy skies overhead, but nothing unusual. The remaining 6 cavers pressed on, reaching the Marathon Passage, a notoriously narrow tunnel measuring only 18 inches by 12 inches, with a stream running along its base. While they wait outside the cave, rain began to fall outside. At first it seemed harmless, but water levels in the passages slowly began to rise. Realizing the danger, the cavers decided to turn back, though they were still nearly 3 hours from the entrance. On the surface, the other group saw a chilling sight, a lake of floodwater forming around the cave entrance. They quickly ran to summon help. Inside, the 6 cavers fought to reach higher ground, but the water kept rising, pressing against their faces. Rescuers and hundreds of volunteers rushed to the site, working around the clock to pump water out and oxygen in, clinging to hope the team had found an air pocket. Tragically, their efforts failed. All 6 cavers drowned in Mossdale Cave.